After last week in Australia when HSR Gecko broke that long winless drought in Tier 1, 195 races, we now wonder who is the next driver to do the same and who in fact can get their first career win. We've had two races this weekend, Tier 3 and Tier 2, where there has been first time winners so far. And you gotta wonder, will we have the same thing repeat again based on the fact that Leo Lund this race last season was taken down by Cookie? Then the Red Bull last week for the first time this season with HSR Gecko. Hello folks, I'm your commentator Ryan Searles, and alongside me tonight is RPL Titan Iron. Welcome along as well, Twitch chat. Last week in Australia, Titan, we had a big race for second place, and Gecko ran away with it. Gecko, a very dominant win, maybe his best in RPL, but you gotta wonder, will we see the same thing happen with someone else maybe? Or Gecko himself? Or will Leo Lund get his first win with the Williams team? You gotta wonder what could happen, but it was this race last season, Leo Lund was put off by changing tires, and I feel like Japan is mistake prone for some drivers in the past. Season 8 was Alpine's first win here. A lot of historic moments around the circuit, Titan.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen quite a few great moments in regards to Japan's history here in RPL. I mean, who could forget back in Season 8 when T.S. Korsman, driving in the Alpine, managed to run off and wind up getting a victory, which was the second win of the season for Alpine. A very crazy and pristine moment there. We've even had some wild crashes. I mean, who could forget in Season 1? Well, myself, I wound up getting wrecked around with Summer Sport. That was back in Season 1, and a wild accident in that one. Wound up making Owen go full ham, full bust on that. But yeah, lots of crazy moments, whether in regards to crazy victories, fun battles, even crazy crashes. Speaking of a crazy crash, who could not forget the time in Tier 2 under the F1.5 moniker when Dano132 put Jack Miles on his roof?
Oh my word. And I think it was Leon and Nando racing it out into the Casio Triangle, and one of the cars got stuck on top of the barrier in their collision. So yeah, famous moments around the circuit for sure. I can't wait to see what tonight provides, no doubt about it. So let's go over a quick rundown of the standings. Leo leads Gecko by 19 points. Crazy to say that Gecko's in second, but he has had a P4 for VCOB already and a win for Red Bull when he got called up to the main team. Jack sits third, Florian fourth, TB fifth. They're all within 29 points of Leo Lund there. McLaren lead the championship on the constructors' side by a point. Red Bull are third, Mercedes are fourth, Ferrari fifth, and then you go all the way back to 8th, 9th, and 10th. Kick Sauber, Haas, and Alpine, all without points, but all got their best finish of the season last week in Australia. P11, P12, and P13. Interesting stuff there. One thing did change after round 3 that we were not aware of, at least at the time until the stewards report came out. It was the fact that Cookie, I believe it was him, got penalized in the stewards room. Florian Van Zelter on the podium behind Jack, I believe, because of it. Nonetheless, Florian Van Zelter, back-to-back podiums,
Ooh.
and we have a monsoon. Oh, dear Lord. Oh, my days.
Uh,
It's wet
I,
tires.
oh my goodness. I believe this is the second or the third time that we've had qualifying in the wet. The first time it happened was back in Season 2 of Japan, and I believe we had
Season
it
8 too, I
happen,
think, a little bit.
yeah, right near the end of qualifying in Season 8 we did have that. But we do have multiple before people go out. We have 19 right now. We should have a 20th Torn Penguin in the other Sauber. He is running late right now. But unfortunately, we do have multiple qualifying bans because you see CRE Dom, he just retired. He's serving his qualifying ban. But last week's winner, Gecko, and Egg also are subject to it too, because Jack took a screenshot of who was going to be in the running for the event, who was on the list for the lineups, and Egg and Gecko was supposed to be in Red Bull, but he got bumped back down to V Carb and replaced by Egg. So I guess if my memory's right, even though Gecko is contracted to V Carb, because the change in the lineup was so late, both of them are stuck with a quality ban, I believe.
Don't remind George of that. It happened to him in Tier 2 in a different type of way where he was full-time and didn't actually get changed. They just forgot to put him on the lineup Mercedes Academy at the time back
Torn
at the end
Penguin
of
is here.
F123.
I just saw him pop up.
There you go. There you go. He just got in his car as well.
Cool,
let's see.
Coolio.
Dom has a regular qualifying ban anyway. I don't know if this one is for the sake alone or if it's his first one, but I don't know if the two go hand in hand or if he has to serve another one the next time. Nonetheless, Josh H., also known as Cameron Emerson tonight. He's messing around with his EA name and whatnot. Josh H's. Last week it was Giuseppe Hoffman. This week it's Cameron Emerson. He is now full-time for that Alpine team. Congrats to him. Zakaria reserving in Haas. Skither returns this week after missing a few weeks. George Williams in the Alpine needed their last moment. You mentioned
I do
Penguin
have an
and
answer
Sauber.
for what you were talking about in regards to
All
Dom.
right. All right.
You are correct. Dom does have a regular qualifying ban, and the reason for it is because he wound up getting 4 penalty points and a qualifying ban on top of it for retiring on the track in Jeddah a couple of weeks ago.
All right. So one other thing as well, I want to give a congrats to our Tier 3 and Tier 2 winner. Tier 3, first-time winner Jake Bandy. Tier 2 winner was, oh my word, Torn Penguin. I had to think of it for a moment. Torn Penguin, first win there. The way it sounded, I don't know if there's been any clips submitted, but George said that might not stand just because of driving on track, but I've not seen any incidents reported. So he should be on the safe side unless something gets sent in last minute. Could always happen. Has happened before.
Well, the clip submission is open for just under another 2 hours. So,
And
I mean,
also congrats to F2 winner Leo Lund, I believe.
Leo's won before.
No, I'm just trying to think, because I was told it was Leo getting both F2 victories. If that is the case, congrats to him.
Okay, I misheard your wording.
Gotcha. Well, we have Jack Miles, the first, who's going to cross. One more sector to go. You were going to say something?
Oh, I'll get to that as Jack finishes his lap here as he goes through the Casio Triangle in torrential conditions. In real life F1, this will basically be a delay in qualifying and not much action going on. But Jack's, that's the fastest lap at this as the benchmark. That being his time there as more drivers start filling on in. George about 2.3 seconds behind him as more cars are just either finishing up their time, their outlaps, or they have to redo their times for evalidations. And TB goes for a big slide in the Casio Triangle, but keeps it together. But unfortunately, that does kill a lot of that momentum. He goes to 42.8. I mean, don't forget, this is in wet conditions, and to be fair, TB is on inters, which is a bit unusual. So maybe inters are just too wet for the inters to fully capitalize on, perhaps. But anyways, one of the things I was trying to say before Jack finished his lap was we had, as you mentioned, a first-time winner in Tier 3, a first-time winner in Tier 2. Could we see a first-time winner in Tier 1?
Florian Van Zelter, Ag, just two of the guys who could potentially do it. Skither, George, Josh, I want to call it Cam so bad, Cryptic, Leo, just some of the drivers who crossed to set times, and now Reese Dainty does just that. Right behind the Haas as well. I wanted to mention, you will see some of the drivers on inters because they do feel like the wets are non-existent, but interestingly enough, these are monsoon conditions. It seems like it has to be straight on downpour. And almost impossible for that to be the case with drivers to go on inners. We have an Alpine in the way of Minico. Is this George, I wonder? Or is this Josh? Either way, they both don't
George.
get along with Minico. It is George. Both don't get along with Minako. George going again, maybe being the case. George did not go again. If he did, he didn't improve. Minako goes third. And I have to mention, with these
George.
conditions, is it a bit wrong to say, Titan? It might be a bit like F2 earlier today with what I heard about, with what it would be if it was real life.
I mean, it was a bit on the chaotic side as Leo goes fastest in that Williams, per usual. I mean, it's no surprise to see Leo on top.
Yeah.
I
I
mean, it's kind of crazy for Leo to be on top of it. But then again, this is an esports driver, so literally, if he was in like a top car, so like say Red Bull or McLaren, he would probably have a time in like the low 39s or high 38s. That's probably how good. That's how good he is. But then put him in bottom of the barrel sludge pile that is Williams' car. He still finds a way to put it on pole. I mean, he did that last week.
I will say though, Titan, these conditions do benefit the Williams and even the Alpine that sits fourth right now. These conditions are going to help the backmarker cars, and like you say, you know, driver skill in real life as well. Cookie coming through the first sector. I'm not sure if he's continuing in this lap because he did have a little malfunction down at turn 2. But these track conditions just look absolutely awful. Dom and Vade Goatley, good to see you guys in the Twitch chat. Give us some predictions for who you guys think might be knocked out in Q1. We know Egg and Dom will be due to qualifying bans, but who will join them now becomes our question. Cookie and Ding, 2 drivers yet to complete laps. We're on board with Cookie.
Well, Cookie in Sector 1 was about a quarter of a second behind Leo in sector number 1, but let's see what happens out of sector 2 as TB goes faster. So maybe for some of these guys with the preferred tire line, the Inter seems to be working decently for those that are willing to take the gamble and take the chance. TB has executed pretty good at the moment, being just about 3.5 tenths faster than Leo, but let's see what Cookie's got as he comes across the line. A little bit of sliding and all that fun stuff. And Cookie only manages to put it 6th fastest with a 42.0. That is the 2nd fastest interlap of this session right now. Let's see what Ding is. Oh, there he is. He's in 130R now. And heading into the Casio Triangle. Let's see what kind of lap he is going to procure. I mean, in some cases, Ding has been hanging around in there, or in some cases he pulls off monumental runs, and
there
he
you go.
is second.
Wow.
I think the Inter conditions are playing nice.
Red Fire invalidated. George at Williams back out there. 1.8 seconds up in the Alpine. Remember, George is not a full-time Tier 1 driver. As far as I'm aware, this range should be continuing throughout qualifying, but if one of the drivers could give me a little info on what the weather will be like in the race, that would be absolutely amazing. Anyway, George across the line 7th, so both Alpines cracked the top 10. Good stuff there from their drivers. How about Minako? Fastest by 2 thousandths. And on the wet tires. So it's a bit of a mix between the wets and inters to start our qualifying session. Also very close between Ding and TB. I think we have one more who's about to cross. I could be wrong. I think that's a Williams. Is that Red Fire starting, or is that Leo Lund? It's Leo Lund. He is starting one.
Tadpole right behind him is 1.5 seconds up in Sector 2, but screws it up. Have a problem getting it fired up, but he does get himself into P9 at the moment, but he had to slide out the exit of the Casio Triangle and then was fighting that car in the final corner.
So Tadpole quite a ways ahead of Zakaria. Gecko telling us it's a dry race. Thank you very much for that. Some drivers have some choice words about Egg. I'm going to assume that's because the F2 race earlier today. I'm not going to give my opinion on that for 2 different reasons. Bias would be one thing. You don't want to do that as a commentator. And second
plus,
reason,
you weren't
I probably
even
should
you weren't
leave
there.
that. Yeah, exactly. I probably should leave that unsaid because I was on there. I'll probably find the clips later on and give my thoughts, but even then, I don't think I'll I'll do that after,
Whoa, Cookie's
seeing some
off.
things. Zakaria 6, Cookie off. Cookie, not sure if he was going for another one. He did have a purple sector 1, so he likely was. Florian on a lap. What is Leo Lund doing? I think he's about to cross. He's going to go to sector 3. What's the track evolution looking like for these drivers? Mainly Leo Lund specifically. It's still downpouring quite a bit here around the circuit. The gap with improvement, 6/10 for Leo. He's got a car starting in front of him. Is that Florian? Is that Skither? It is one of the two, but they do pull out of the way for him. Merck Academy helping each other out there. Leo Lund
It's
almost going out of bounds there. That was so close. It was Skither, as you do clarify. Leo Lund coming across the line, and it will be 6/10 of a gap there to have the top of the board.
Yeah, more of these guys are just wrapping up and getting some laps done. Cookie had a little bit of understeer in the braking zone of Degna, and he wanted to go into the gravel trap. So Cookie is going to be trying again. Ref Fire, by the way, about to finish his lap. He was over 2 seconds up, and he's up in a P8 right now. Jack responds now with a 39.5 on the Inters. So it's a battle between the Inters and the Wets.
Both Williams inside the top 10. You want to know the last time they had a double Q3 appearance? At the start of Season 10 in Baku in these similar conditions to what it is tonight. Florian van Zelter, 2.4 seconds up. You talked about that battle between Inters and Wets. He's a driver on the Inters and could go fastest. Florian van Zelter, 2 podiums the last few weeks. He's going to go fastest in Q1 this time. Torn Penguin, a little wiggle wobble to the Casio Triangle. Look at these sequence of corners he's trying to navigate. You just have so much trouble on the traction, and he's going to go back to the pits. Skither up next, 3/10 up, and he's having a big moment there as well. Ooh-wee.
And when you mention on both Williams getting to Q3 for the first, if that happens, so it'll be the first time since Baku Season 10. The drivers in those Williams that race, Beatnik and Zakaria. And it was probably one of the most shocking surprises of qualifying in RPL for the F1 23 game cycle.
Just want to note a few things. Cryptic on the bubble right now. Cookie only just safe. And Skither, a part of that bottom 5. Gecko clarifying that he was frustrated with Egg because he's saying Egg is the reason he has a qualifying ban. So there you go. Egg was one of the drivers supposed to miss this race. He's here. Skither the same as well because George originally was on loan to Mercedes. Cryptic, what's he doing when he comes across the sector split? He's in the Aston. And I gotta say, Titan, seems like no matter what the circumstances, Ding and Cryptic always seem to find themselves as teammates.
Yeah, they do have a bit of a knack of finding a way into meeting each other up. But Cryptic going through the Casio Triangle now, he is 1.7 seconds faster through the Sector 2 split. That's going to put him right around in the 7th place marker. If he keeps this line better, and he does so, he takes 7th exactly, 40.7 for him. So this is quite interesting to see. You got both Williams, you got both Astons, and currently right now, we have both Haas's currently at this moment looking to go through to Q2 with only 3 minutes left. The gun is out the ready to see if Cookie, Skither, and Torn Penguin can get themselves out of, well, in Cookie's case, out of the bubble, and when Skither and Torn Penguin's case, out of the bottom 5.
Reese Dainty also on a lap as well. Reese got pole here in conditions little lighter than this in the Season 8 running of this race. And at the end of qualifying, it dried up perfectly for him to get pole position. 1.5 seconds up for Reese. This would be good enough to get him through, but I think, Titan, you gotta go for another one just because the track seems to be evolving a little bit. Not a lot, but drivers are finding time, and also you wanna be able to make sure you don't have any mistakes in the process. Reese Dainty crossing, and it's second fastest. Look at the track evolution there. He went from 11th to 2nd there, Reese did.
Yeah, and one driver I'm currently on board with right now, that being George. He's about to hit the sector split. He's 1.8 seconds exactly up. So that means at the moment, if he keeps the pace strong, we could see George infiltrating the top 5 here. As George, nice and easier compared to his other compatriots, coming across the line. It's a 39.5 for George, and he is in 4th, just
There we go.
behind. Yeah, and we have our first 38 in the form of Ding and Cam. Well, Josh H, but I'll say, is right behind in 2nd.
You don't want to confuse Cam and Josh, by the way. Just want to make that clear now. Yeah, very good stuff there. Up to 2nd for Josh. Cookie also on a lap, up 1 second in the first sector. We're going to see massive improvements on these laps when we get the checkered flag going. But I have to say, it could be anybody's game when it comes to who's in, who's out. 2 drivers will be knocked out based on pace. That was an improvement from Zakaria up to 7th there. He could be someone being a big surprise getting through. Torn Penguin, invalidated. He's going to need to go again, and I don't know if he has enough time to do so. The fake TB crossing 9th. We have others still crossing as well. I believe that there's a few drivers starting laps, and Hunted, I don't know if that was an improvement or if he's starting one, but I believe that's an improvement, and he only just improved. Cookie up by 2.5 seconds, and he will be one of the other drivers trying to improve, trying to find time, and trying to not be on the cusp when it's all said and done. Cookie, Casio triangle to go. Low ERS, but a slide which might benefit him in the nick of time. Cookie, 4th fastest. Tadpole now in the bubble.
Skither's about to hit the sector split now for Sector 2. He is nearly 3 seconds up in Sector number 2. As more times are falling into place here, as Skither now coming out of the final corner, just seeing more times coming in here. Cryptic up to 6th. I see Minico up to 3rd. Here comes Skither across the line.
Tadpole's out.
He goes to 6th fastest. Yeah, Tadpole is done. Florian, however, just takes the pole spot by about half a second. And the wild part is, he did that on his 5th lap of the intermediate compound. So the Inters are playing super nicely here for these guys, which is really, really good here. As Cam back in and done. Well, Josh H, sorry, I'm gonna get so screwed up by that.
I know. Penguin did finally get to the checkered flag and actually has a lap to get in. Hunted crossing the line. He needs to improve desperately as well. TB 2nd, Florian fastest. Ding, Josh H, they're in the top 5 as well. And Hunted only barely improves. Red Fire invalidated that last lap. It's going to be a race between him and Penguin here. What's Penguin doing a part of the bottom 5? That'll now be the question. George doesn't need to improve, but he's still on a lap. Reese across the line, and he'll go 3rd. Very good stuff there from drivers who don't need to improve, but they're doing so anyway. Cookie invalidated. Cryptic down. What's Penguin doing? He's crossing
Penguin
the
is half
sector
a second
split,
up in Sector 1.
and he might get in. He might get in.
Yeah,
2.3 seconds in the 2nd sector.
That's going to put him in the 39.7s. He just has to make this exit really good here as Storm Penguin's coming out, working and fighting that car, trying to keep it in tune. He does make it through. P14, Red Fire, invalidation has costed him. He is out.
That's so unfortunate. Tadpole also out as well, by the way. Wow.
Take a look at this. Like, literally 63 thousandths of a second separates Florian and TB. Reese in 3rd with only just about a 10th back. That's your top 3. And the people we say goodbye to, we lose Dom, Egg, and Gecko for qualifying bans. Tadpole, the slowest of the entire field. And Red Fire, 2nd slowest and out of this field.
Zakaria, Penguin, Josh H. Some of the surprises getting through. George Williams as well. Look at the top 6, though. Filled with PC drivers and Titan. It was the Season 9 race. It was the first all-PC podium. Good stuff there from our top 6.
Take a look at the drivers. Take a look at the drivers chat. Jack just did a making a quote.
Let me just mark that on red, and then I'm going to look there. Uh, oh man.
I mean, if Leo could provide like a POV of him driving around, maybe we could just put
That'd be
that in
great.
like the meme, like in the memes, or put in an RPL context with that quote.
Mm. Speaking of out of context, another one being released this week, folks, for those interested. I think it's number 18 or 19. I don't remember which number it
19, I
is, but
believe.
we do have one scheduled. I'm going to double check for myself. 18. 18.
Oh, it is 18. Okay.
20 minutes long. Hope you
I
enjoy
want.
that one.
I wonder if your comparison of Beatnik to the Chicago Bears
Oh, man.
is in that compilation.
It would not be. But I do have a section in a different Discord where I do have that ready to be clipped. And, yeah. Well, I can tell you, though, you are
It'll
one of
probably
the
be
main
in
characters
19
in it, so
then.
have fun. Yeah. Have fun with that. Well, anyway, Q2 ahead of us now. And something I want to talk about is that next week's races, Tier 3, Tier 2, F2, all in Hungary. F1, though, is in Imola. And I gotta say, there's some drivers who are not as high in the championship that I'm a bit surprised about. Some drivers I would have expected to be a bit higher. You could say Reese may be one of those drivers in 8th, Egg in 9th. Both Red Bull full-time drivers down there. Ding in 11th in the championship. A bit shocking there. Skither 13th, but he's not showed up to as many rounds. He had the same thing happen last season, so I'm not going to hold that against him. But definitely a few drivers ahead of Imola who need some good runs tonight, that's for sure. Jack and George, both Welshmen, the only two out on track on the wet compound tires, whereas the rest of the field on the inters. Skither and Cookie, the only two not out on the racetrack. The fake TB is starting a lap, and how about we watch what he does down the main straight, deploying overtake, and then have Titan take it away come turn 1.
Yeah, so here we go. As TV flies his way up into turn number 1 here. Just nice and easy on the power, not to get too crazy on it. Now through the dreaded S's, watching those entries, making sure not to understeer, not to make mistakes going through these corners. As TV is just fighting it just a little bit just to keep the car in control. And he's still going through as we go through the Dunlop curve and heading into the Degnas. It's a 36.5 for him in Sector 1. Not too bad, honestly, as he makes his way through under the first part of the Sector 3 through turn, I believe this is 11 here, into the hairpin. As now he exits through and off he goes, getting back onto the fight here into turn 12. This long sweeping right-hander. Now into 13 and 14, the spoon curve. A little slide on the entry, but clean execution out of the final corner. Whoa, maybe I spoke too soon. Got a little slippy on the curb, but he keeps it hanging on as he now heads to 130R to finish off this lap.
And the Castillo Triangle, where we've seen some finishes and podium places, just like Season 9, decided at this circuit. Could have it happen again come the race, but you gotta master it in qualifying before you get to the race. The fake TB, one more corner to go, and a big slide as he tries to cross the line. 38.6 is the benchmark to beat. Jack Miles, Cookie, Skither, and George all on outlaps. So we switch to well, Josh H is invalidated. Ding is not. Leo Lund crossing, and then there's more to come. Penguin, he's set a time on the board. We have the Haas of Zakaria. He's done the same as well. He had a big shunt in this race in Season 1. Florian second, and Ding takes that over very quickly.
So everyone's just filing in to finish off on some of these laps here. We have Cookie starting his lap. We have Reese and Minico about to finish theirs as they come out of the Casio triangle here into the final curve here as Reese goes 5th fastest with 38.7. Minico 43.2. So Minico definitely has some problems on his run. He's gonna have to go again later on. He's gonna have to go again and try to improve.
I'm just debating on who to watch because I think it was Hunted who just invalidated. Skither just started one, and Cookie is currently coming through turn 8 here. Overtake button on use into the double right, which does have a corner name. I think that's the two Degnas, if I remember correctly.
You're on board
Meanwhile,
with Cookie?
yes, overtake on use heading to the hairpin. I think that is the two Degnas. I want to say it
Yes,
is. Yes, it
the
is.
Degner curves, yeah.
See,
And Cookie,
I don't understand how I forgot throughout time because Silverstone needed a track map during the Tier 3 race, and I don't know why.
You know what the wild thing is with this corner that Cookie just went through? I didn't even know this corner had a name, but it does have a name. Where Cookie went through before the spoon curve, that is 200R.
Yep.
Which is a little strange, honestly. I
I
didn't even
learned
know that
about
corner
that
had a name.
Yeah, I learned about that in the Tier 2 race here. I commentated with Beatnik back in Season 11, I want to say?
Oh,
12? 11, 12? One of the two?
I didn't even know it throughout the entire history of RPL. I didn't even know that corner had a name. But now I know. It's fun stuff.
Cookie.
But anyways, let's see. Cookie
Here
comes
he
out of the
goes.
last corner now. A little slide again. That sliding is really starting to mess him up, but he has a 38.5. Puts him about 17 milliseconds behind Reese in P6. We have 4 drivers left to set a lap at this moment, and then we'll see what our bottom 5 is looking like. But we know Torn Penguin is
Minico
in
went
that
7th.
list.
Yeah, that's what did it. Minico went 7th. He does have a lap, a proper lap on the board now. Yeah, I will say, these conditions do seem like they're dying down a little bit. Little by little they are. But Skither crossing the line, and he will go 12th. He's going to start a lap now. That's what it is. Jack Miles on a lap here now as well. Yeah, you learn something new every day, I feel like, with the way it is.
Well, I'm on board with Jack as he's finishing his first lap of the board. And looks like it's going to be in the 39s here. It's a 39.6 for Jack. He's all the way down 9th.
Wow.
And
George
George
just
just
set a lap
set an
10th.
identical time.
TB crossed for 3rd. I just wanted to mention something. If we're running aboard with Skither right now, you'll notice you can slide around a little bit in the wet here in the game, but you can't slide around a lot. You can slide around in the wet a little bit to find time, but you don't want to have massive moments. And I'm telling you right now, the overtake button, you will see quite a bit of that during qualifying just because you don't burn as much ERS in these conditions. Skither, a little bit of a moment there coming out of the hairpin. No harm, no foul, though. He's one of the drivers who does not have a representative time on the board. Someone who does is his teammate now, Florian Van Zelter, who has gone fastest. And I just got to wonder, Titan, his podiums have come from P7 or worse, all 4 of them in Tier 1. If he does get a proper lap in tonight and everything going well, I definitely think he has a good shout for the win.
Yeah, I mean, Florian does have a possibility to go for a chance to win, but to be fair, there is one big hurdle he has to deal with, and that is his own academy teammate, Leo Lund. Think about last week when Florian was trying to get past Leo, but Leo refused to let him by. It was mainly because Leo was the championship leader. He wanted to prioritize more points, which meant hindering, at the time, his air quote, faster car teammate.
And, you know, with this stuff at stake, you definitely have to take all you can. And for Florian and Leo's case, by the way, those two are good friends off the racetrack. On the
Jack just
racetrack,
improved to 3rd.
a good stuff there from Jack. Nice improvement. I was just going to say with Leo and Florian, those two are very good friends off the racetrack. On the racetrack, though, they do not care. They're academy teammates, and the last 2 weeks, they've not been racing like they are. That's for sure. Hunted. One more driver to go out of the ones who've yet to have a time on the board, and we're going to find out if George stays in the top 10 or if Skither stays 11th and what the things look like there. Hunted using battery across the line, and Hunted will go 10th. He is on the cusp. George is in that drop zone. He will need to go again. Same with Skither, Cryptic, Zakaria, and Torn Penguin. To answer the question in the chat, yes, this is a league, and I think you've just got a Discord invite as I'm catching up, so welcome along to RPL.
Skither has had a bit of a slide exiting out of the spoon corner. He is in the bottom 5 right now. He's only improved by 3/10 at this moment. This is going to get him out of the bottom 5 here for Q2, but it's very, very close. Like, there's probably going to be just under a tenth of a gap between Skither and Haunted. Nope, Skither is abandoned and is heading back to the pits. I think, honestly, that could be a wise choice, honestly, to waste the time to improve by like a couple of tenths and have very little time to go back out and get a proper lap for your final run.
Ding, 2 tenths down in the first sector. Reese is up, so we're going to continue on with Reese Dainty. Reese Dainty had the qualifying ban last week and came through the field to finish 8th. I feel like it has to be said, this game, when you're not in a DRS train, there's just not much you can do. George Up Williams found some time, and he is 9th, knocking his teammate Josh H., who is known as Cameron Emerson tonight, to the bubble there. Yeah, I feel like if you're not in a DRS train in this game, you're just out of it. And I really hate that's what it's come down to, but it's just the truth. Reese Dainty was not in that fight for second. He didn't have anyone along with him to drag him up there. If you're battling so egregiously, then you can catch those type of trains. I'm saying drivers in front battling, to clarify. But if they're not, then you're kind of in no man's land, and that's what Reese was kind of in a race of his own last week. He is finding a lot of time to the second sector, though. Casio Triangle to go for Reese Dainty. The Season 8 pole sitter of this race, also Season 9 champion, backing it up a season later. Across the line, and it will be fastest for Reese Dainty. That's a statement he needed to make desperately. Zakaria up by 3/10. He's currently in the elimination zone. We'll be saying goodbye to him if he does not find the time, but he will be finding a place if he does keep with it.
While Zakaria is figuring out, trying to get himself out of that bottom 5, Reese, by the way, just put himself fastest. The first time we see a time in the 37s. So the track evolution is really showing strong signs of improvement here, as more of these guys are just wrapping up on some of their laps here. Zakaria is just trying to see if he can get himself out of bottom 5 right now. See, he's got in Sector 2. He's about 6.5 tenths up in Sector 2. This is going to put him right close to Josh H. and George, but he's going to pull off a phenomenal Sector 3 in order to have a chance to go for Sector Q3 run. Here he comes across the line, and he just missed it.
Man. Josh H. starting a lap. This could be his final run. George Up Williams right behind him as well. Minico up in the first sector by 3.5 tenths. Cookie invalidates. But just remember, like the end of Q1, if there is track evolution, we will see some drivers go out who might be a big surprise. Skither right now, one of the big surprises, a lot as well as Cryptic, in that drop zone. Penguin down there as well. He's starting a lap. Cryptic on 1 right now, heading into the corner where Vettel and Verstappen collided in 2018 here. Spoon curve.
Looks like Minico made a very big mistake somewhere in his run, because he was 3/10 up in Sector 1, but now 2 seconds back in Sector 2, so he made a mistake somewhere. So Minico's going to be trying one last time to try to get a run done and dusted. Meanwhile, we still have a few more cars on their outlaps right now. We have Jack already came across the line to finish his outlap.
Cryptic invalidated.
We have Hunted in the Spoon corner.
That's
Jack
unfortunate.
invalidated?
No, Cryptic.
Oh, Cryptic did. Ouch.
He has to go again, and he's got barely... Well, I thought he had worse ERS. He's still got some there in the tank.
Yeah, let's see what Cryptic can do. He's literally... He has to have this happen. Any invalidation for probably the guys that's in Sector 1 right now, this is the last chance to get things done here.
Minico needs to lap desperately tight. I'm sorry to cut in, but both Alpines have improved, knocking Minico to 10th. Very important there. All of our bottom 5 drivers also out on a lap. Penguin back to the pit lane. He will be eliminated from qualifying. Skither to go as well. Something also to mention, Reese and Florian, they're safe no matter what. Florian has called it quits early, but he is through into the next round of qualifying. Q3 for him.
I'm on board with Skither right now as he's over second up in Sector 2. So this is going to be nice and crucial for him. This is going to put him right around in P7 at this present moment. We have a Ferrari about to cross the line, that being Cookie. He improves to P5. Let's see what Skiller's guy as he comes across the line. He goes P4. That does knock his teammate downwards as Reese has improved even further, but not by much, but it is enough. Minico coming across the line. He's in ninth. And Josh and Cam, George and Josh are at risk.
Cryptic crossing now. What will it be for Cryptic? Will he get through into Q3? Yes, he will. That means George is out for sure. He invalidated that last
George
run.
has no
Josh
fuel.
Eats still to go. Yeah, Josh Eats still to go. He's got 0.4 of an improvement through the second sector. So he's doing it when he needs it most. Jack second. Here is Leo Lund going fastest there. What's Josh H going to do, also known as Cameron Emerson tonight? And he'll pull off a Cameron Emerson type of qualifying run, getting himself into Q3. Good qualifying pace there from Josh H. Still more to go. Hunted in the bottom 5, still remaining down there. George was out, Zakaria is out, and Zakaria might still be out, but he's got to find time in the last sector, and he barely misses out. That's so unfortunate for Zach.
No, that would have been a mega major upset because the gap between Minico and Zakaria, 21 milliseconds. Imagine the insanity in the Ferrari Academy. It's Zakaria in the Haas eliminated Minico, the Ferrari. That would have been chaos in the Ferrari Academy chat.
Speaking of surprises, I think there are some we got to talk about in that bottom 5. Here is the drivers not going through into the next round of qualifying. Zakaria, Cryptic, Hunted, George, and Penguin. 5 different teams in that bottom 5, but Reese Dainty taking a little extra route. I must say, the surprise down there, though, Titan, has to be Cryptic for Aston Martin. When Egg had that qualifying ban, there was always going to be a surprise into the next round of qualifying, which I think would be the Alpine. And Leo was already going to be there anyway, but that knocks another surprise out, and that is Cryptic. In my eyes, at least.
Yeah, Cryptic being out is a bit of a surprise there, but, I mean, the track evolution was really firing into place, and things are just the way it is. Anything can happen. It's crazy. And
Zakaria said he wishes the race was wet. Leo Lund on the top of the board, once again heading to Q3. It's him ahead of Reese Dainty, Jack, Florian, 4 different teams in that top 4. TB running out the top 5. Ding, Skither, Josh, Cookie, and Minico joined them through into Q3. Eliminated and out. Zakaria, Cryptic, Hunted, George, and Penguin. Haas, Aston, RB, Alpine, and Kick.
I'm stuck in a black screen, so I missed all that out, which is unfortunate.
I know, I gotta make sure I at least get the final screenshot when it comes to the podium at the end, not staying on that for too long, because I've had that happen before. Still monsoon conditions here for Q3. I think we're going to see the inter-tire regardless still once again. Folks, give us some predictions for Q3 and what pole could be. We have some droughts that could be broken. It's got to be talked about. TB has not had a pole since Season 8. Minico has never had a Tier 1 pole. Neither has Josh H, but he's had like 4 front rows. Ding has not had a pole since the Season 9 finale. And Williams have never had a pole in RPL, but they have had a 3rd place qualifying run, which happened last week. That was their best. Florian Fenzelter, never a pole sitter, but has had a front row. He had that happen last season in Monza. And Skither has gone over a season since his last pole. A bit surprising there. But Skither and Cookie, if they do take pole, at least one of them, could equal Luke Range's all-time pole record at 25 poles. Both them sit in second on 24. I am going to be right back quickly. I'll keep on board with Jack while that is the case, but I would love to see some predictions when I do come back here from the 15 of you watching.
Woo! Nice wild slide from Florian. I'll tell you, this potato chip tastes weird. Like it smells burnt, tastes burnt, but apparently teriyaki chicken. What in the world will Lay's come up next for chips? Or for UK, call it crisps. Teriyaki chicken. Actually, it's not that bad, honestly.
I am back.
Oh, I didn't know you were gone.
No, I mentioned it. I mentioned
Oh,
it.
but I wasn't paying attention 'cause for 20
That's
seconds.
okay.
I was enjoying new potato chip, or for the UK
Oh,
people, the potato crisp. Teriyaki chicken. It's alright.
interesting.
It's a little
Interesting.
interesting. Wait, why is Miniko all the way stuck in turn one? We're run out.
Huh. Jack Miles, I'm going to ride on board with him, and it seemed like before F1 24, he was one of the drivers we could say was a quote-unquote master of the wet. He had some wins in F2 come from the wet, and he also had some decent runs in the wet in backmarker machinery. Most notably, Williams' last podium, 99 races ago for that team. You gotta wonder, can they get on the podium for the first time since Zandvoort Season 7 tonight? It is a possibility, considering Leo Lund could even take pole in the wet based on what these conditions do for the backmarker teams. Even someone like Josh H, who's in the Alpine, could take pole. We could have some surprises with that being said, but Alpine has had a pole before, whereas Williams haven't. Jack Miles, though, enough chatter about the other drivers. We're riding aboard Jack, who's using a ton of battery, entering 130R. Let's see what he's going to do through here. Right on the edge of the curb. These conditions, so tough for the drivers, but at least it's letting up a little bit. It's not let up a lot since the start of qualifying. But nonetheless, across the line we come. Jack Miles, what will it be, the benchmark? It will be a 38-0 for Jack. Next is one of the Mercedes. It's Florian Fanzelter, the Italian. Not the only Italian in this session, but he crosses to go fastest, 37.4. Next, the fake TB. What's it going to be from him? He'll go second. Next is one of the blue cars. It's Josh H, the Alpine, that blue car. And then we have the Ferrari of Miniko, then Skither, then Leo Lund. Skither crossing, it's fourth. Leo Lund next. What's it going to be from the championship leader? Leo Lund crossing and goes third. Next up, the Aston Ding, a good effort there, third place. Next, Cookie. What's it going to be for him? Cookie and Miniko both backed off on their laps and starting one now.
Yeah, Reese is about to fire up on a new one because he had invalidated, so he's going to be trying again. But yeah, Ferrari, both of them have made some critical mistakes in their first run. I mean, we were on board with Jack, and there was then Miniko was facing the wrong way in the first corner, so Miniko gonna have to be definitely trying again, as he's over 17 seconds in sector 1. Gotta love that. Over 17 seconds in sector 1, but let's see what he's got through the remaining sections of this track, as Miniko really wants to get himself into that top 5, really wants to make the Ferrari shine, but I won't beat around the bush when I say it. I mean, Cookie has been doing somewhat all right since going to Ferrari, but in regards to Ferrari overall, they've had some hit and miss moments so far in this season. We're only 4 rounds in.
Miniko crossing now, and it will be 5th fastest for Miniko. He desperately needs a good qualifying run, especially after being involved in lap 1 chaos last week. Cookie and Reese coming across. Cookie needing an improvement and may have just got blocked by an Aston. Something happened there, and he has backed off on that run. Was that Ding getting in his way? I think it was. Yep. Ding came back to the pits, and these two clash once again. Reese Dainty crossing. It was a pole back here in Season 8. Will it be another one provisionally for now? Reese across the line, and he's 4th. So Reese Dainty, who's not been good in qualifying up until midway through last season, puts it 4th. Not bad effort there considering the circumstances. Together on a lap.
Things are looking interesting for Reese here. I mean, think about that chaos that happened with last season. when Reese was having decent qualifyings and has like decent qualifyings, but the races were just hit and miss. And then he had a bit of a downward turn in regards to some of the racing. He wanted to get replaced in Red Bull about halfway through the season. Then Reese started to turn the jets back on and get it back into the swing. And then he got his chance back near the end of the season. And yeah, it's just wild to see how Reese has come so far in this game cycle.
Anyways, it was together invalidating a lap time there, so he is done and dusted for the time being. Ding, he probably will be investigated for what happened. I'm sure about it. Florian Vanzelter, though, fastest and still improving, on pole position for what could be a first time from the Italian. Cookie had to go again, and we're watching him enter the Casio triangle. 4 minutes to go. Faded. I see you in chat. I see Red Fire. I see Goatly. I see a few others. Give us some predictions for a pole position if you haven't already. Cookie, back to the pit lane. He must have made another mistake, and that is
Oh yeah,
not good for Cookie. Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, I think that's a smart play on Cookie's part because literally with just under 4 minutes to go, if he goes for another run, then he runs out of fuel. It's just a slow, long way back to the pits, and then he wouldn't have enough time to get a final run in. So, I mean, yeah, even though Cookie was improving by quite a bit, I think he played it safe by going into the pits and waiting on the final run to try to rectify the bad time that he's got.
Apologies for missing Florian Vanzelter's pole lap, but that's a really big margin he's got. 6/10 there, the gap from first to second right now. Jack Miles starting his final flying run. We're on board with him.
I mean, to be fair, in regards to Florian's time and that big of a gap, I mean, if it stays that way with Florian putting it on pole, I gotta look back at the qualifying runs for that season, but I believe for Mercedes, with this big of a gap in qualifying, this is probably the first time since season 6 since Mercedes has had a dominant pole time compared to the second place car.
I mean, the last time they had poles, Mercedes, back in season 9. That's how long it's been. It was Luke Grange the last one to do it. And it was a wet session in Singapore that he did it in. Jack Miles across the first sector split. I wasn't looking at what he's doing for improvements, but now we go to the hairpin. What kind of line is he going to take? Is he going to arc that corner? Yes, he is. 95% in that battery still to go, and you gotta wonder for Jack's case, is he gonna dump it all once again into 130R like he did the last time? Josh on a lap as well, by the way. Florian not back out. Reese not back out.
Well, I can't say in Jack's case, he is almost a tenth and a half behind in Sector 1 here. Let's see what he's got going through in the Sector number 2 here, and it is, oh, he's even slower. Well,
Interesting.
Maybe Jack had some problems. Now he's realizing, wait, I need to charge the battery back up enough.
Here we go.
He's gonna start his final
Jack.
run with 78%.
Yeah, fair point. He must have realized it was not it. Same with Josh H. He's also backed off there. TB starting a final flying lap there. Same with Ding. Moore also doing the same. Reese, Leo, Minico, Skither, and Cookie still on outlaps.
It was only a little bit to go, and well, this is weird.
Huh.
Florian retired in the pits, but his car's on the track.
So did he retire when exiting
Josh
the
H
pit?
just hit him. Josh H just hit him.
Oh, man. Big incident.
I don't get that. Florian, when he retired, he was in the pits.
Yeah, but the thing is, Titan, if his car is coming back on the track after he was in the pit lane, that must mean he was exiting the pit lane and then retired then when his car was exiting.
His blip barely did move on my end.
Interesting. Very interesting. Well,
yeah, a little strange.
Everyone is now on final runs. TB is backing off and gonna do another one. Very Uncharacteristic there. Actually, he might not get time to do another one. 5 seconds remaining. Checkered flag will be waving in the nick of time. Jack Miles down. There are drivers not finding improvements. We've got Ding up in the second sector by 2/10 there. Here we go. The end of qualifying in Japan. It's a monsoon, but it still could be places changing throughout the whole field. Ding across the line, and he'll be on the front row for now. The question now becomes, will he keep it? Cookie down in the first sector. Josh H on a lap, but the thing is, he has backed off because of the collision he had. Skither on the track. 8th fastest right now, 3/10 up in the second sector. Minico, 3/10 up in the second sector as well, but he's up even more compared to Skither. Minico, the next one to cross.
Down, by the way, is 8 milliseconds back.
Front row for Minico. Skither next, and Skither third. Yeah, Leo's down. I did see that, but
Leo's gonna take the fastest lap, the top spot. He's 8/10 up in sector 2.
Oh boy, Cookie next. Could it be a record 25th pole equaling the best? Cookie only 9th. Leo Lund, he's crossing next. Williams are on the front row for the first time. Holy cow! Reese Dainty does not snatch it over Leo. Florian Fenzelter delivers Mercedes their first pole since season 9 Singapore. And he also gets his first pole with it. The Italian doesn't have to settle for second or worse in qualifying any longer. Florian Fenzelter's done it. And Mercedes, for the first time in 55 races, they've done it as well. Florian Leo, 2 rivals, 2 academy teammates, the front row. Their best qualifyings for one themselves, and then second place, the team itself.
Man, oh man. And Josh is not happy at Florian for
reasonably
for
so.
What happened there? I mean,
reasonably so. 4 different teams in the top 4. I'm going to have you run down the field if you don't mind.
Yeah, so here is our field. So we have Florian on pole. Under some controversy with this incident with Cam, Josh H. Leo is second, Reese third, and Minico fourth. That's when Skither making up the top 5. And in the top 10, it is Ding, the McLarens of TB and Jack, Cookie, and Josh H. down in 10th.
Not surprised about some of the drivers up there, but I'm surprised about both McLarens back there. I think Josh has every reason to be unhappy about that, though.
Yeah, I completely agree, to be fair, but in the same case, I mean, I didn't see Florian go out onto the track. I mean, he was in the pits, and then all of a sudden I just see his blip on the track. I'm like, wait a minute, he's retired. How's he on the track?
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know what to think.
It could be possible. Maybe Florian hit the exit out onto the track, realized he didn't have enough time, and then retired, still in the pits.
He said AI was driving it, not him.
Yeah, but here's the thing: in the rule book, you have to be responsible for your own equipment. So even with that car and AI, if you just did it in the pits, your car's still going out. And if Florian did do that, I hate saying it, but Florian, if that is the possible case, the theory to be proven is that, as I say it, it could be possible Florian could be looking at a heavy penalty for that.
Dry race, but overcast at the very end. Red Fire talking about his teammate doing wonders there. Skither, 6/10 up in the abandoned lap. 5 seconds, what do we expect for turn 1, lap 1?
Well, we'll have to wait and see.
Round 4 of Season 12 in RPL F1. The 5 lights on ahead of the drivers. Here we go for Japan. Suzuka, they rev it up. And it is lights out and away we go. Similar to Monza, Florian side by side with Leo in the run to turn 1. Florian pinching Leo, both them side by side, and they almost make contact. Leo on the inside, banging wheels with Florian, and almost forced off. Now to the S is still contact, more wheel banging. Florian holds on to the lead. Unbelievable stuff there between the 2 academy teammates, elbows out.
Yeah, Florian had to keep the gap done here as we have a car around off of the gravel in the S's. That is Red Fire. In fact, he actually went off of the entry of the Guyaco curve. That's where he went off, and Red Fire who started at the 16th spot, plummeted down to 20th. Yeah, we have Ding and Minico brawling.
Minico lost the rear, Ding on the inside, stuffed one in there, and almost got the place. Lots of contact further back, 3 wide we saw. Hunted getting Zakaria, Cryptic getting George, and Minico under pressure from Ding, but keeps the place. The strategy on our screen now.
Let's take a look as Hunted just puts an exclamation point, goes a little wide at the exit of the spoon, gets a little hooked up with Zakaria there. These two are battling it out for the 11th place spot, but Hunted gets it done. Here comes Cryptic on the outside, through 130 yard, or nearly side by side in 130 yard. Yeah, George thought about trying it, but backed off. But George down on the side of the triangle and trying to get past Zakaria. Bumping and banging between those two for the 13th position. And Florian sets the fastest lap in this moment, while Gecko is trying to get past 4 wide. You gotta be kidding me.
Unbelievable, 3 abreast into the corner, but it's Gecko, Zakaria, and George in this battle. It's Gecko, Zakaria, George.
Oh, Zakaria up in the gravel.
He got forced off. We're going to see if that goes to the steward's room, but Zakaria, I was just going to say, had the place over George. That was the running order from 13th on back, but that's no longer the case. Egg back there from the qualifying band. 4 places for him, 5 for Gecko, 2 for Jack, 2 for Hunted. But the big losers, Zakaria, Red Fire, and Penguin. They've lost 4 or 5 places.
Oh,
Skipper's lost 3.
That's Hunted.
That's Hunted. Hunted off. And he's going to have to make sure he comes back on safely. He did, it looks like. Egg now getting through on him. George getting through there as well. Egg with a tank slapper coming off the corner exit. Skidder and TB now side by side. So much action wherever you look.
A bit of a tank slapper from Egg. He had a little help from Hunted. Hunted gave him just a little tap enough to make that happen. And Zakaria took advantage of that little mishap from Hunted, and he took the 15th place position back. And back further on, Torn Penguin clearing Tadpole for the 18th spot. Egg clearing George for the P13 spot before 130 yard. And I believe Cam, Josh H, just lost 9th place to Skidler.
Florian has the lead, but does he keep it to turn 1? Reese and Minico racing it out. Jack and Ding were momentarily ago, and TB has a mirror full of racing behind him. Skidler, Cookie, and Josh H in on the fight. Egg, a part of the train, leading it in 13th. He needs to find more places in order to help Red Bull in their constructors fight, and also maybe help Reese Dainty later on, because he's also in the fight for the lead. Oh, off! That's Josh H. He made a big mess of turn 8, and almost in the path of Egg he re-enters.
Yeah, where Josh came back on, there was a
Extremely
considerable
dangerous
distance between him and Egg, but that could still be treated as an unsafe rejoin to the circuit, to be truthful here. And as you people see it here on the screen, TB, Skither, Gecko, Cryptic, Egg, George, and Red Fire are on the hard compound tires. So 7 drivers on the alternative strategy, while everyone else is starting it off on the medium tires at this time.
Penguin and Dom, both Saubers were racing it out. Now it's Hunted and Penguin going at it there for 16th. For the lead, Leo Lund staying behind, but Minico wanted to go up the outside of Reese and clip the grass in the process, so that backs up Jack, that backs up Ding. There's touching there. Now, overtake button on use on the run to turn 1 for some. Ding all over the back of Jack, and Leo trying to take the lead, and he will. A Williams in the lead of the race, but he doesn't keep it. Florian's got it back into turn 2.
This is a clash again, just like it was last week. This time the roles are reversed. This time it's Leo struggling to pass Florian, and Florian really would love to have a first win under his belt, but he is really trying like hell to keep his own teammate behind here and getting it through. And by the way, just noticing it, Florian on none recharging that battery, while Leo is actually was actually on medium and actually gained a massive amount of speed into the Degnas.
Different to Australia, but the same. A DRS train with a ton of drivers in it, but the difference is no one is pulling away. Florian Fenzelter has never won. Reese has won, but you got to go back to Miami last season with him. Leo Lund has won 15 times prior, but never a win for Williams. And it'd be his third different team if he does it today. Williams never has even finished above second, or excuse me, finished above third. They haven't even finished second. Big train heading to the corner, and there's definitely contact.
I think Minico got into the back of Reese just a little bit in that braking zone. We saw Reese having that slow slide as Leo on the outside gets it done. Reese decides to send a shot, but Florian trying his best to try to keep the Red Bull back. They're side by side in the S's here. Very close, tight wheel-to-wheel racing between the two. Close here, close here.
Still contact.
Pulls it off.
I cannot believe that Florian made the move on the straight, went very defensive. Reese had to go for it. He did, but Florian wheel banged with Reese 3 different times in the S section. With this contact model, I'm very surprised they made it out alive. TB a moment ago out of the Casio triangle had a moment, and a little wiggle there out of the second Degna. So traction may be a bit of a problem for the McLaren driver. Further back, there's a Academy battle, but I think that's caused yellow flags. That's Dom off, and the Sauber driver not having the best of days, that's for sure. He was battling Tadpole and Penguin. Not sure if there was a coming together there, but remember, he's on loan, so he does not race alongside them full time.
Yeah, pretty much the case on that one. I wasn't paying attention on the track map here, but we have Minico, by the way, down in 4th. Still trying to put some extra pressure on Florian, but bear in mind as we head into the Casio triangle here, Reese, Florian, and Minico will have DRS available to them, but Reese will probably have a little bit of trouble because Leo is probably on running an esports wing setup, which is probably significantly different than everyone else, and Reese thought about it but couldn't make the move at this time. Meanwhile, further back, TB under pressure from both Skinner and Cookie. Skinner gets blind against him in the 7th, but TB muscles his way to keep 8th place off of the season 10 champion of Cookie.
Speaking of champions, it's a whole champion train. Skither, TB, and Cookie. Some prior champions also add Cryptic's name into that because he's a tier 2 champion of the past. Oh, lag spike. Skither.
Yep.
Came out worse from it inside of TB. I'm not sure if he had a screen freeze or lag spike, but nonetheless, it's put him back there. Florian on the back of Reese still. Jack racing it out with Ding. Ding now has the place. I'm not sure if Jack just let him by or what the case was there, but yes, Skither is fighting TB back.
Yeah, Skither tried to go the long way around in 200R, but just couldn't get the strength to the speed to get it done. So Skither still has to fall back and stay in that eighth spot. But Cookie is not waiting. He is looking for a chance, maybe to go for a move, but just can't seem to get it done as of yet. Skither holds him back. Cookie will have to wait into the DRS straight to get it done here. And meanwhile, this whole little battle here has brought Gecko, Cryptic, and Egg into the fight here. As Cookie 3 wide.
Wow. Exiting the final corner on the run in turn 1. It's a drag race. 3 wide and almost neck and neck and neck, but it's the Mercedes of Skither getting out in front, and Cookie and Gecko almost clash again. I'm sure they won't be gifting each other Christmas presents because I can tell you right now, that's at least the 7th time they've come together in the last 24 races. They just continue to come together, and I don't understand what's going to change.
Yeah, a little tap there,
big
but
slide for Cookie.
Yeah, Cookie had a slide in Dunlop. That has cost him a lot of time to Skither here, and this is going to allow Skither this is going to allow Skither to potentially pull out of the gap here as Hunted, by the way, in a Degna is now the first track limit penalty here, and we have trouble in...
Whoa!
Yeah.
Contact, Gecko and Cookie. I don't know what the trouble was the yellow flags were for, but side by side to spoon curve. Gecko prevailing. And it must be said, there was a lot of contact earlier, and there is again. Gecko went off the road and came back on in front of Cookie. These two at it again. And Gecko and Cookie still bashing and banging 4 wide momentarily.
Yeah, and look who just benefited the best out of it here as he's trying to
Cryptic
fight
as well.
to get himself in the 9th.
Cryptic benefited too, Titan. He got 2 places as well as Egg for the lead. Florian, Reese, and Leo,
Gecko's
the top
off.
3. But it might change, and Gecko is off. Down to turn 1, Reese overtakes for the lead once again.
Fair credit to Reese getting himself into the lead here, and just before turn 1, TB surrenders 7th place to Skither. Skither and TB are quite a ways away from the front 6 at this moment, but with them battling it off just a little bit, excuse me, this brings Cryptic, Egg, and Cookie up to these guys.
Not sure what happened to Gecko. I would love to know, but developing news, Reese Dainty, laps ago, had his stream die off on him. Now, very interesting because he usually streams his races and uses them for clips. He's going to have to use a different method or find some sort of way, if we do get a safety car, to get that back up and running like usual. Gecko and Zakaria swap places for 14th, but what happened to Gecko, Titan?
I don't know. I mean, they looked like him and Cookie were close together in the Casio Triangle, and all of a sudden I see on the blip, Gecko was very slow and cut the Casio Triangle, so maybe the two came together and made Gecko spun. That resulted in Gecko losing 2 more spots, this time to the Alpines. And Reese, by the way, out of shape, and Florian put a little wheel in the grass in the final corner. This allows Leo to come down on the inside. He gets the lead back. Florian follows suit to get 2nd place back. And more changes behind as Ding loses 5th to Jack. And TB reclaims 7th from Skither.
The Alpines also swapped it around. Gecko got one of them. Now trying to get the 2nd one. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Just amazed at what has happened so far this race. And all drivers still running amidst the chaos. Hunted and Tadpole trade spots. Hunted our only driver to pick up a track limit penalty. Gecko gets the other Alpine finally, and that is Josh H. to the ending bit of the S's. Well, it's fitting he's in an RB making that overtake because it was Sonoda in the real life race here in 2024 making overtakes in the S's. Gecko now doing just that.
Speaking about with track limits, by the way, just want to note this one from the top 5, Leo and Reese. They have no track limit warnings for them. Florian has 1. Jack and Minico, if they get 1 more, they will be in the penalty box.
Here we go to 130R. Jack Miles hounding the back of Minico for 4th.
Minico is all over the rear end of Reese for the 3rd spot. These 4 cars are so close together, you can easily stuff them inside a mini hot dog or something, and they're still fighting over as Florian reclaims the lead from Leo, and Florian has the lead as Skither goes into P7. And Cookie, what? This is unusual.
He went to the pits and is now out of the race.
Wow, that is very unusual for the Season 10 champion. We'll have to find out what happened to Cookie, but that is our first retirement of this event.
I would definitely love an answer as to why Cookie retired. I joined their voice chat to find out, but I still don't know the answer. Oh boy.
I haven't seen anything on what happened as of yet. Actually, we may find out the answer. I'm currently
he's
pretty
sick.
sick.
He's not feeling well.
Oh,
man.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, he did say it immediately after the retirement, so he is. Yeah. So that he should be safe. But man, that sucks for Cookie. Hope he feels better. But
I agree.
That is very unfortunate. I mean, to feeling ill winds up.
Hold on, Minico almost went for a move on 130R. That would have been desperate and very bold indeed. Yeah, Feel better,
But if
Cookie.
he got the move
That's
done, that
unfortunate.
would have been incredible.
It would have been, but Reese was very lucky he didn't get spun around there. Leaders in.
Whoa!
Oh, Florian locked the rears.
He didn't want to speed.
Very badly. TB clawing his way back past Skidder. Yeah, I had a cold about a month ago. He said he has the flu, but very unfortunate for Cookie out of this race. I can't remember a time in the last few seasons that he had retired in the pit lane, given up. But reasonably so this time. Hunted speeds, as you said.
So a bunch of these guys on the medium tires, they have gone in at this moment. Meanwhile, just taking a look as these drivers cycle on out here. Florian down in 14th, Minico down in 15th at this moment. Let's take a look at the gaps here. So Florian about 21.3 seconds behind the leader at this moment. I believe if my memory's right, the pit loss at this track is roughly about 22 seconds.
I could check what it was last game, but nonetheless, our top four still yet to pit, all on the medium compound tire. We're almost halfway, folks, but what will happen to finish out the race? Already one retirement, game over for Cookie. Very unfortunate there for him.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun running sick. I mean, it can
Reese
throw
got
your focus off.
Yeah, Reese did it once. He got COVID and ran, I think it was Spa Season 7. Speaking of Reese, he's into the pits as well as his other drivers battling. Leo speeds! Holy cow, he did what Florian did, but he actually sped! Oh my word! This changes this race completely, and Skither didn't have the lead, but he does now as he stays out with TB. Unbelievable! Leo Lunda cost the error.
That is really hurtful right there, but now that gives Florian the big opportunity here. Now, if I was Leo, I mean, yes, you had that 10-second, but to be fair, I mean, I wouldn't want to take the risk and fight in your academy teammate. I would just do what if I was Leo, I would say, okay, I have a 10-second. I'm just going to be a hindrance to Minico. I'm going to help my teammate out, but I need to catch the group.
You definitely got to think now, though. He might not even get to Minico just because of what the situation is. 2 seconds behind. Not in a DRS train, but Leo is leading one. Minico and Florian are top two. Both, net top two when it all cycles out. Both have never won.
Florian just had a major lock up into the hairpin, but he does have some help. If he stays behind Red Fire heading into the DRS zone here, he will have help from Red Fire here.
And I'm sure Red Fire would love to help him.
He's giving him
Our
slipstream here.
Staying out. Yeah, and we'll get the DRS if Red Fire times it perfect. Watch, he'll let him go here. Yup, DRS. There you go. Oh, he's gonna fight Minico into the braking zone. Look at this.
I knew it.
There you go. Made Minico think and kind of faked him out there. Red Fire racing with Minico and bashing wheels.
Minico's got no ERS available.
But Red Fire has to concede the place, and he does. And he gave Minico a bit of a scare there into turn 2.
And that does help Florian out just a little bit. It does give him a bit of breathing room because before
Look at this. Look at this.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Lane Leo through. And now
Part 2 of this.
He has to Reese and Jack.
Reese, yeah. Red Fire and Reese do have a bit of history. I'm sure Reese is like, come on, not you again. I don't want a repeat of Monza from seasons ago, Texas from seasons ago, and look at this. Reese having to go the long way around, Red Fire pinching, and look at that, that allows Jack to try and go through, and he does! Reese in the grass, and made a big error!
Yeah,
he got a tap from Red Fire!
Dirty.
He really did, he made him go up wide, clipped the left rear tire, and Reese tried to go on the grass and get through, and look at this for second place, Cryptic and TB having to go at one another. Minico gets the net lead. Minico gets the net lead. That's crucial for this race, by the way, but they need to not battle in order for Leo or Jack and the rest of those drivers behind to not have a chance. And TB gets together for the lead.
Yeah, but Florian has DRS available to him, and he has a full battery available too. Minico has barely anything available. So Florian playing a bit of DRS mind games because he knows of Minico's weakness to his low ERS. Like I said at this moment, Minico has about 25% availability. Florian has a full battery available.
Interesting stuff developing in this race. Halfway now, and Tadpole and Penguin do swap places for 17th. Florian and Minico have a 2-second buffer over Leo Lund. Very crucial, but it will be those two going at it for the victory. Florian Van Zelter, a lot of heat after qualifying he got from the drivers after what happened with him and Josh H. Reasonably so. Florian, I think the race winning move, if he does win this, is simply staying ahead of Leo and controlling the pace, dictating the race on lap 1 in that argy-bargy battle in the S is Hunted with a track limit penalty, and second up for grabs. Egg gets it.
Now the question is when will these hard tire runners come into the pits here? Because we do have to note that Josh H is still on the track at this moment. He's gone 13 laps on those mediums, and Egg right now does take the lead from TB at this present time.
Here we go. Look at this. Ding, fastest lap. He's in that train further behind our net leaders, which swap places. Jack ahead of Leo, crucially. Minico ahead of Florian. I just wonder if Josh H is staying out, waiting for a safety car, and then gonna pit, because he feels like maybe it could reel Minico in with him, or if he's staying out and just choosing to be a nuisance to Minico whenever the time is needed. Hunted and Zakaria swap. Tadpole and Penguin swap, so both Haas drivers lose out there.
At this moment, just taking a look at the gap between the leader to the first person, to the lead guy that pitted, that being Minico. Minico is about 16 seconds behind Egg at this moment. So
look who's in this.
Yeah.
Jack's in the train now, finally. That's crucial for this race victory. Sorry, I had to make ourselves aware.
And Jack is clawing his way in. He is now within DRS of the front two ahead. Minico, the net leader at this moment. Florian, net P2. Jack down to net P3 at this time. Let's see what's going to happen here, as looks like our hard tire guys are coming in. Egg, TB, Skither, and Cryptic are in.
Skither almost didn't get that low down Titan. I think you may have caught the end of that, where Skither almost did the same thing as his teammate Florian, and maybe almost Academy teammate Leo. Gecko leads this race ahead of George and Josh H. Jack fastest lap, but he is not the leader of this train. It's Florian and Minico who are, and Jack's caught up. Jack's caught up. Leo has. He was the leader of that train, and Ding has as well. So a pivotal moment for the three at the very end of this train to try and catch up and have a chance at the victory. They now do.
But at this present moment, bear in mind this though, Leo Lund still has that 10-second penalty hanging on his head here. So Leo, at this moment right now, if the race ended as it was, Leo's dropping all the way down to 13th.
I'm interested to see what Alpine are going to do here, because already during qualifying, George hindered Minico, and both those drivers, bad blood with Minico, and I'm wondering if they're staying out, waiting to kind of mess things up here, because he's currently the net leader on for a first victory. I know Jack wants something to say about that, but I'm just interested to see if that's going to be the case there, or if they do actually pit this time. It's interesting to see an Alpine stay out in 15-lap mediums, but
George
actually, yeah, Josh staying out. Interesting.
Gecko staying out too.
But it's not just because of Minico, though. Jack is an Alpine Academy car, just to keep people aware. Florian in the train, Jack in the train, Leo in the train. Places swapping to turn one, but Jack nudging Florian because Florian almost left it late there in the braking zone. Crucially, both Red Bulls swap. Egg from the qualifying ban ahead of Reese, and on the medium compound tire and charging quick.
Yeah, Jack is being hounded all over by Leo. Leo thought about trying to sneak a shot into turn one, but couldn't see an opportunity to make it stick. Ding right behind Leo in P7 at this moment. But yeah, Egg came out of the pits in P8, and he is on the fresher compound and even the softer compound tire than the guys ahead of him.
5.2 the gap to second place, 1.8 the gap from first to second, and Josh H with a track limit penalty, our fourth different driver in this race to have a penalty to their name. Gecko yet to pit, by the way, one of the only two.
Yeah, I think very soon we may see one of the two go in.
Hold on. Jack at 130R has pulled it off.
Josh is in.
Unreal. And may go for the net lead now, Jack. Yes, it will. Jack behind Minico, but for how much longer? Egg with the fastest lap. Skither as well. Lots of movement to turn one. Jack around the outside gets pinched by Minico, and Leo got on the inside of Jack and just got the door shut on him. Leo Lund ahead of Florian.
Yeah, this is probably not what Florian wants, to have Leo be ahead of him, because Florian will be like, come on, you have a penalty. I have to be prioritized. I have to be prioritized to get some points here, and Leo, currently, at the moment, he's ahead in P4, but bear in mind, with the penalties he's got, he's going to plummet all the way down. And currently, at this moment, Leo will be falling to P11.
Wow. Take a breath,
even when
folks.
Gecko pits, I mean, Leo will be looking at points, but he's only going to get a single point in P10.
Whoa! Skither dipped the wheel in the grass when trying to get by Reese Dainty. Something I also want to make quick note of moments ago, a few laps ago. Hunted, when he got overtaken by Zakaria, had a second difference between him and the next car. I'm interested to see if that was contact or a mistake made. Later on in the storage room, we'll probably find out. Leo Lund pouncing on the back of Jack. Look at this accordion effect to the braking zone. Florian had to check up. Ding had to get it woed down. For a net lead, Jack and Minico. Gecko still staying out. Minico trying to break the slipstream and will be overtaken to turn one. Jack into the net lead in Japan. And Reese is off in the background as well. He was racing it out with Skither. Was there contact there for 9th and 10th place? Nonetheless, it's Egg trying to catch up to the back of that train up in front of them.
Yeah, he's trying to claw back in here. So let me just take a peek at the laps here. Ding last lap's 31.2 on that prior lap. Egg 30.1, and Gecko just disconnected.
Oh my word, that's from the lead. That's so heartbreaking because you know what? Although he was not on for the victory, if he got a safety car in this race, advantage would go to him. But that's no longer the case from our Australia Grand Prix winner. Skither and TB a fight there for 8th. Reese and Cryptic a fight for 10th. In fact,
Egg is caught up.
I was just going to say, essentially we could say former teammates there, but you know what? I don't think that's the storyline anymore between those battling. Egg catching up is the big notable thing right there. You know, Jack, I was just going to say, if it weren't for, Cryptic overtakes Reese there in 130R. I was just going to say, if it weren't for Egg catching up, I was going to say, TB was in that train. Jack could have done some favors. He didn't need to do that. 2.8 the gap for the lead, but Skither sets the fastest lap. And look at this, 3 abreast to turn 1. Very tight there. Jack gets overtaken not just by 1, but by 2. Minico back in the net lead.
Yeah, Leo went for the move to try to go by Jack, and Minico thought the exact same thing, and they both capitalized to get themselves up and ahead. But here they come. They're coming up on the car of Gecko at this moment.
And he just rejoined too.
Yeah.
That might be interesting to see how that goes. Sorry.
And on a different note, by the way, Jack is still at 2 track limit warnings. Minico just got his second track limit warning 2 laps ago.
Look at how that stacked up the train into the hairpin. Now through 200R, Miniko ahead of Gecko. Will Leo Lund try to get the upper edge here into the next set of corners? Contact Leo Lund through. And Gecko, everyone's going through him.
I don't think Gecko's able to take control of his car.
Oh no, he's disconnected again because he couldn't take control.
Oh boy.
Everybody floating by Gecko. Egg getting ding here. Egg before 130R, passing ahead. So we spoke about the chance for a first victory from Miniko or Florian. Now look at Egg on the charge. He could do it. Zakaria with a penalty, and TB getting through.
Cryptic just got one as well. Red Fire too. Multiple drivers getting track limit.
All simultaneously, 3 wide into turn 1. Leo Lund back through into the lead. Or is he? Jack Miles around the outside has got it.
And meanwhile, Reese just got past. Temporarily just got past. Wait, no, Gecko is in the pits. That's why. Duh. Never mind. Disregard that.
But he did
now
lose
the
touch
top
with the
9
train,
is
Titan.
close together.
I was just going to say, Reese lost touch with the train. That's what it was for him when that all happened. So you still make a point about Reese, which is fair to mention.
Well, Florian's thinking about a move on Nico.
Here we go at the hairpin. Look at this further back.
Oh!
The Aston. Florian gets spun. He got tagged. And his chance for a first victory, done.
Yeah, Florian breezed right past Miniko and into the braking zone. Miniko just a little too early in there and tapped and spun Florian. And Florian now all the way down in P9. But the good news is, even though Florian is all the way down in 9th, he is still within the 10-second of Leo. So
moves being made. Skither on the attack on Ding. Remember, Skither, Cryptic, TB, and Egg on mediums. The rest of those guys in the fight on hards. Yeah, Egg is really coming through the field quickly. Leo Lund back through into the lead, but Egg now only has one more place on track to get in order to have a chance at his first win. Egg and Miniko, those are the 2 drivers trying to win their first race. Florian now racing with Reese for 9th, but heartbreak for both them. Now trying to catch up to the back of the train, which seems like impossible at this point.
Take a little note of this, by the way. Josh H is on the soft compound tires. He is currently 13.8 seconds behind Leo. He does have a track limit penalty, though. So in order for Josh H to try to knock Leo Lund out of the points entirely, he needs to gain over almost 7 seconds in these last 5 laps in order to knock Leo Lund out of the points completely. If he did not have the track limit penalty, Leo's off!
Leo, a mistake from the lead, and that's also Tadpole off, by the way, as well. Leo Lund blinking with the fuel mileage, meaning he's low. We saw drivers run out of fuel in this race seasons prior. Cryptic and Ding, elbows out there for 7th. I really wonder what's going on there with this train. Look at this. Egg on the move. On Leo Lund. Leo Lund cuts him off, but Egg goes through. Miniko goes through. I was just going to say, I wonder what's going on with this train, because a lot of drivers seem to be backing up here quite a bit. Are they saving fuel, or are they playing some other games we don't know about? Miniko and Leo, wheel to wheel to turn 1. Leo through and staying ahead. I feel like that's what got Florian tagged around, Titan.
I mean, there was a little scuff between Egg and Leo on the exit of the Casio Triangle, and Leo did go a little bit on the wide side. Egg took advantage, got 2nd place back, and Miniko did try to finish it off to try to get himself in a 3rd, but unfortunately, Leo powered on that overtake to maintain that 3rd place spot. But bear in mind, like I said, Leo does have that 10-second penalty right now, and like I said, right now he's going to be plummeting down to P10, but that means the alternate strategy is starting to pay off, because Egg is within half a second behind Jack, and he is looking to try and claim what I easily predicted earlier on before the season started, that Egg could go for a win, and he has the chance right now.
The calm before the storm. It's what it seems like once again. Egg doing this from a qualifying ban, by the way. A very powerful track for wheel drivers, but some of the pad drivers doing great tonight. Look at this. Movement in the braking zone. Miniko and TB clashing wheels. They were former teammates, and Miniko gets shoved out wide. That got heated. Skither through. TB through. For the lead, Egg, from worst to first, has got it on lap 24 and has a chance to do what could have been impossible and get a first career win. Not just from a good starting spot, but from a good race. A qualifying ban. P19. He's got the lead now.
This is going to be an astounding and really wild victory for Egg if he gets it done. I mean, Egg is in regards to Egg in his career, Egg is the season 11 F2 champion. He would love to have a tier 1 victory under his belt, and he has the chance there because Jack did lose a little time in the Degnas. Jack was a little slow through the first Degna curve.
It's practically the revert strategy today that helped Egg out, but also this train of cars, Leo Lund at one point was at the front of it. You got to think that he's maybe conserving some fuel. I want to look through some of the other drivers to see if they're doing the same as well.
Because Leo's out of DRS.
Yeah, he's the only one at risk of running out before the end of this race. The same thing happened in Season 9. Jack re-inherits the lead there with 3 to go, this time by.
TB now looking to figure out where he's going to be going, and here comes Skither on the inside to try to muscle the party to get himself in the 4th, but can't seem to get it done at the moment. TB maintains 4th place, but for how much longer? Here comes Skither down the inside as Egg in the background of my screen takes the lead back from Jack. Here comes Skither flying down the inside. Whoa, almost lost it. Getting off on the curb here, but he is into the 3rd place spot now.
What a brawl for 3rd. They're all losing touch on the leaders, though. It looks like a race between Egg and Jack. You just gotta wonder as well, for drivers like Miniko and Florian, Titan, what could have been for them? Miniko, I think the Ferrari tire wear kicking in clearly, but also the fighting in the train disrupted him so much to where he just didn't have the ERS management and the pace to stay within it. And Florian got tagged around, but also the opposite strategy compared to guys like TB, Skither, and Egg, really hindering his chances as Ding gets through on Cryptic, and Florian as well.
Yeah, Yasin switch up, and I think it's a smart play for these guys to switch up because Cryptic does have that track limit penalty on him. And speaking of penalties, by the way, we have mentioned before multiple times on Leo Lund having that 10-second penalty at the moment. Right now, at this present moment, as Jack takes the lead back from Egg here, George, who's down in P11, is, well, if you take the 10-second into account, he is 2.2 seconds behind Leo. So
side by side again with TB and Miniko,
Yeah.
by the way. I'm sorry to cut in, but TB and Miniko really elbows out there. Big brawl for that place. Big brawl for the lead with 2 to go. Egg reclaiming it and trying to get win number 1. 6 podiums prior. Jack, a 6-time F1 winner.
Yeah, this is gonna be where things is gonna be playing all for keeps here because these guys are gonna be conserving the battery throughout the entirety of Sector 1 up until the hairpin. These guys are gonna have to maintain tire temperature, maintain their pace, and maintain the battery deployment available to them. At this moment, Jack has the better rechargeability. He's at 70% compared to Egg's 50%. This is going to be the crucial meaning here for these two, because the amount of ERS battery available to you is the crucial piece to becoming a winner or having to sit on the 2nd place spot.
Penguin pits for fastest lap. Cryptic on the back of Florian still. Look at the games being played. Egg doesn't want to lead before the final lap. He wants to do it down to turn 1. Jack takes back the lead of the race. And here's Egg just messing with Jack on which way to go. Does Jack protect left? Does Jack protect right? Egg making him find out which way to go. 1 to go in Japan. Jack leads. Egg 2nd. But which one of them will be first or second when it comes down to the wire. The battle for fourth continues. TB takes over that one over Leo Lund. And it was this place through turn 2 where Portley and I believe Owen collided for the win back in season 1. Clean through there. Now you got to get through the S's. TB on Leo. Leo is blinking and really flirting with running out of fuel. Egg has got batteries saved up here for 130R. I think that's what he's going to do. He's got 20% more in the tank than Jack.
This is going to be the crucial bit here. Let's see what happens here, because literally these guys are flashing red in regards to the fuel availability. The question is, can Leo make it through a round, or is he going to run out before the end here? But that is not the main case. Our big focus is the front two. Egg versus Jack. These two have battery available. Let's see. Jack, 80%. Egg, full battery. Here he goes. He deploys it all.
Egg has never won. He's had 6 podiums prior. He had a qualifying ban prior to today. Jack, 6 times a winner. Here we go. At 130R. Unbelievable on the inside line. He's pulled it off. And Egg, from a qualifying ban, has never won before, but a big maneuver has got him the victory for the first time. Eggles wins in Japan. And a fight to the line. Look at the photo finishes. Skither just edging out Minako and TB by 2 milliseconds. Leo Lund ran out of fuel and costed himself at the end. Egg a first-time winner, and that for me is driver of the day. George got a Leo.
Yeah. And wow. Leo, no points. And
can't believe that.
For third. Literally 31 thousandths separates third, fourth, and fifth. What a wild run.
Another photo finish behind between Hunted and Red Fire. Remember, Hunted had the penalties, so really meaningless there. A first-time winner once again to end off the weekend. Egg finally is a Tier 1 winner. It was the big move on the inside at 130R. He caught Jack napping, but also really, Egg had the slipstream. Egg had the battery to spare and got it. What a big fight for third. I think Skither, I don't know if he was running out of fuel there at the end. I was just going to say, yeah, he was sputtering quite a bit, and he had trouble when coming out of the final corner, because I saw him slowing up. I was like, what's that about? Well, we know now. He barely held on. Another season, another podium for Skither. His first since USA last season. Minako just missing out on the podium. And another driver who you gotta wonder what it could have been today. Egg wins for the first time. And it was the big move on the inside. What an overtake. From a qualifying ban. And he said he wasn't going to win this season. Yeah, okay. Well, there you go.
There you go.
What a race. Egg. Showing his moves, and rightfully so after the last lap overtake he pulled off on Jack Miles. Lifting the trophy. I must say, you know, regardless of F2 earlier today and everything that had happened there, the man deserves his credit.
Yeah.
He deserves his credit. He has been flirting with a first race victory for over a season now. Mm-hmm. And finally pulls it off. Red Bull, back-to-back weeks with a win. Look at this. The top 4 don't even finish in the top 3 spots. Skither, 3rd. Jack, 2nd. Egg, 1st. 5th, 8th, and 19th they qualified in. Skither, fastest lap in the end. At least that's something to be proud of, regardless of the fuel situation. Minako, TB, Ding, Reese, Florian, Cryptic, and George on our points. Good job on George to still settle in there, pitting later and getting it.
Oh, that really sucks. So Leo just sent a picture on his speeding penalty. He was in kilometers an hour. The speed limit 80 kilometers an hour. His speed at the line 82. So 2
Ugh.
kilometers an hour was the difference, and that's what costed Leo. He wound up losing out on points. I think honestly, that's the first time in a while that Leo has not scored points in races he's done.
That is actually the first time Leo has not scored a point
Oh,
in
really?
racing F1. Yeah.
I thought he didn't score points in Baku last season.
I think Baku he did after the Stewart report, but I think he only just scored like 1 or 2. Let me just double check quickly.
Oh no, he got
Because that would be
seventh
the
in
only
that
other
one.
time.
He got
Yeah,
seventh.
that would be the only other time I was going to say if it was the case. But yeah, Leo Lund,
Damn.
the championship leader without points. Egg's my driver of the day. I mean,
Same.
look, I mean, I have a lot I could say about the guy that I'm just going to leave left unsaid, but his race that he did today, it has to be his best in Tier 1, no doubt about it. He did a good job and drove from the back of the field, from a qualifying ban. And I can't remember the last time we had this happen because it has to at least be Season 9. Back-to-back weeks with an Xbox winner.
That might be interesting. And apparently the reason for what happened to Leo, he couldn't find the pit limiter board on there. I guess apparently one of the other drivers knocked it off the lap or a couple laps before Leo went in. That's
I
why.
mean, you could go back to the stream and find out who did it, probably.
That's nuts. Alright, I have to bounce. I will see. I will see. Well, actually, on my end, I will not. I will be seeing. I will be seeing you for Spain in 2 weeks. I am unavailable next week.
And Polish will be joining me.
Fun times. All right. See you later, people. I am bouncing.
And that'll be it for me as well. F2, Tier 2, Tier 3, all in Hungary next week. F1 in Imola. What a Grand Prix that was. You know, definitely a, I don't want to say career revival. I don't feel like that's the right word, but definitely a change in hands with what he's done in the last, I don't know, 24 race weeks from Egg. He's found the groove, and credits due where credits due. Race win number 1 for Egg, but we'll see you next week. F2, Tier 2, Tier 3 in Hungary, as we said, and F1 in Imola. We'll see you next time, folks. Ryan Searles, RPL Titan Iron, signing off, and have a good night. We'll see you then.